Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Chatter Squadron, your weekly dose of Star Wars fun and positivity. My name is Tyler Bucks.
And my name is Logan Hansaker. What is up, you rebel scum?
Well, like usual, we have a lot of news today, even though this news week was kind of light, Logan.
It was a bit light.
So it's a bit light, and as you know, we like to do a segment on the show which is called This Week in Star Wars History, and during that, we're going to be doing a deep dive into something that I didn't know existed until very, very recently, which is going to be very exciting, a live show only in Japan back in the 90s.
I didn't know it existed until last night.
Me either. So we are going to give you guys some insight into that because we watched it, and obviously we don't speak fluent Japanese, but we will give you the best we can when it comes to what we were able to get just visually from it.
Well, yeah, we'll give you what we gathered from it.
And then Logan, how can people help support the show?
Help support the show. Well, you can comment in any show, and you could win this art behind us, which is Bounty Acquired by Lucas Durham. Ooh, now I can hear myself. That is perfect. As you know, Acme Archives Direct sends us art. You guys comment in. We give it away every month. It is beautiful. This one here, we actually have the legitimate Lucasfilm license certificate of authenticity, not the fake one this week. So that's cool.
Right. And you get that with every single order at Acme Archives Direct. And they don't even just cover Star Wars. They cover a bunch of different things, like some of the things we'll be talking about today. Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about that in a little bit. You can also support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Chatter Squadron. Rise the ranks over there. You get a bunch of benefits, whether it is the post show or our show notes or access to our Discord or a shout out every single episode like our Commodores do. So Logan, give a shout out to our Commodores.
Commodore Marroquin,
Commodore
Rayside,
Commodore Benty,
and Commodore
Mellish. That last name, it's just sad. Like you need to give
you gotta go evil.
You gotta go evil.
Sounds
when it
so
comes
good.
To it.
So good.
But thank you everybody for tuning in, and hopefully we don't have any more tech issues in the unknown regions today. Logan doesn't even know this. I'm going to tell the story of my weird past 24 hours.
Okay.
And kind of another reason why we still have the same internet we've had for the past couple of weeks.
Okay. I see. I didn't know for a second.
But that all melds into what happened last week or yesterday and then into today and all this. So stick around, unknown regions at the very end. But Logan, let's kick it off with the first story here, which is
Chewbacca Has Pants?
Well, he almost had pants, at least. Recently on Twitter going around. Sorry, did I mention that it's a light news week?
No.
Oh, okay, never mind. On Twitter, apparently there was some buzz about Chewie almost having pants. Logan, what is this all about?
Yeah, apparently Mark Hamill tweeted I'm fairly new to Twitter. So you told me it was actually Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Right. Joseph Gordon-Levitt from 500 Days of Summer and Third Planet from the Sun and all that.
Third Rock from the Sun.
Thank you very much. I messed all of that up.
And plenty more. He was in Knives Out too, apparently. I still don't believe.
And he was in The Last Jedi.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, yeah.
Another apparent. Anyway, continue.
So he tweeted some mock early drafts of Chewbacca, and we actually have some of that. We have the picture for you.
The picture, yes,
on the screen. And yeah, it was basically they were throwing around the idea of possibly having Chewbacca wearing pants because they were like, "Yo, this guy's naked. He's not wearing any clothes."
Yeah, the studio apparently was a little turned off by the idea of Chewie being completely naked throughout the entire thing.
And that's one of the things. Maybe they didn't bring it up there. Maybe that was just when you and I were talking about it. But it's like I don't even think of it until you see him with clothes on, and it's like, oh yeah, I guess he is just kind of wearing that little bandolier type thing.
Yeah. I do want to say, Logan, that with this up on the screen, it almost looks like we are those people.
Yeah.
I'm Chewie with pants over here,
and I'm Zeb,
and you're Zeb, hairless Chewie.
Yeah.
So how does it feel coming second best and not even being made into Chewie, second Chewie?
It feels great. Because I got my own character, first Chewie. Actually, second Chewie did get his character. First Chewie was the real one who got scrapped.
Oh, Chewie with pants. You're right.
Chewie with pants has never been seen. At least we got Zeb out of the the runner up.
And at least Zeb has pants.
He does.
But yeah, it was actually Mark Hamill explaining the story about this, and that's what makes Twitter kind of interesting, especially when it comes to Mark Hamill. He is very candid.
Yeah. He said like what even he brought up like why would they be worried about that?
Yeah. So here's the question we want to ask: Would Chewie wear Wrangler or Levi? That is a very, very big question.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Levi.
You're gonna go with Levi? I mean, Wrangler, I'm not too sure because of the fact that I don't know if he wants to be wrangled in. He seems to like not wearing pants at all.
He's a bit of a wrangler.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. He wrangles people's arms off.
I think honestly, if he was gonna wear anything, it would be jorts. It wouldn't even be pants. It would be cutoffs.
Commodore Mellish says, "Let Levi all the way."
Right?
See? Well, I didn't even pick a side.
Yeah.
I think he would be a Walmart brand guy.
I think they have.
No, I think they have great value pants.
I think they have Levi at Walmart. They have Levi everywhere.
This is a good point by Siren. He wouldn't know. Mala buys him his pants.
That's true.
Yeah.
She takes the tags off.
Yeah, and he doesn't even know. He doesn't even know what size he is.
Yeah, Chewie would wear labelless pants. Okay, he doesn't associate with
Chewie
designer.
is probably like a 42-56 or something like that when it comes to his size.
They have to special order his pants. They never have his jeans in size when he goes to Kohl's.
That's
What's the most frustrating thing, I'm sure, for Chewie.
It probably sucks.
Space
majorly.
Kohl's.
Oh, Space Kohl's. Right. Cool. So yeah, is there anything else we want to talk about when it comes to this?
Put some pants on that walking carpet.
Wow, that's kind of racist.
Is it?
I don't know. But let's change subjects to this week
in Star Wars
history. And that's brought to you by me this week, everybody. So very interesting thing that came through while researching for this week in Star Wars history. And that's kind of what made this whole deep dive into a Star Wars live play possible. But we'll get to that in a second, because April 25th, 1979, Darth Vader and Boba Fett make a private appearance at the Bib Company, a Star Wars licensee of bedwares and linens. Was that a part of the, the deal? They're like, Yep. You'll get a couple more percentage on the revenue. However, we want Boba Fett and Darth Vader to just show up at the office.
Well, and now I'm very like, what were they doing there? It was just like the Bib Company, Star Wars light of bedwares and linens. Were they just there as just characters? Like, yeah, buy these. Was it like at the opening day? You know what I mean? Was it the kickoff of this?
Star Wars history does not know this info. I'm very sorry. The question I want to know is, does the Bib Company sell bibs?
Yeah, because when you first said the Bib Company, I was like, oh, they're going to be selling Star Wars bibs.
Maybe that's what the Fortuna family was big into. Okay,
they didn't have him.
April 26th, 1982. True, they're not true Star Wars fans. But that was back in 79 before Bib Fortuna. Okay, moving on. April 26th, 1982, principal shooting of the Endor sequences for Return of the Jedi begin in forests around Crescent City, California. But I had a great time there watching them do that.
Yeah,
I was one of the trees.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, you would think that they would use the trees that were there.
They brought in their own trees.
They brought in their own trees as humans.
Wow.
Yeah.
They just had actors as stand in for trees. So how did that go when they had the scenes where like the speeders were crashing into the trees?
It hurt really bad.
Because we know George Lucas and his stuntmen. He does not.
Yeah, their stuntmen have to be ironclad, basically.
Quite literally does not pull his punches.
That's why I did not go and continue working for that.
Just one and done.
And now here is the big story. In 1993, April 27th, George Lucas Super Live Adventure, a $25 million live entertainment show, opens in Japan. So I see this come through when I'm doing this research. And I am like, I have no clue what this is.
Yeah.
What that even means, what it would look like. I don't understand. That's all the info that they give. The Star Wars history machine. That's all.
We do know that it's very live.
It is very
extremely live.
Yeah, it is super, you might say. And It's kind of an adventure.
Well, we talked about, because we watched it, we talked about the budget. When you're watching it, it's like, what is the budget? And I didn't even look at our notes here. 25 million. That makes sense.
Yeah, because of the music they were using. So we'll get to this in a second here, but I think everybody should take a look at the trailer for this and let us know if you would go see this George Lucas Super Live Adventure.
Tomorrow Impulse George Lucas Super Live Adventure.
放送3年ついに完成したルーカスライブ。本当に本物のスター・ウォーズがやってくる。これはもう映画どころの騒ぎじゃない。
Now, as two people who aren't that big into Willow, we were like, who is Skeleton Sword Horse Guy?
Yeah.
Who is this character from a
Skeletor.
Star or a George Lucas project? So did that make you guys want to go see it? Because it definitely made us want to sit down and watch the entire thing. See, we're way out of the loop here. We have Trevor saying that's General Kale, which is true.
Yep.
We looked that up later because we still didn't know as we were watching. So you may be asking yourself, what the heck is this? Logan, would you like to tell them this little synopsis that we found, and then there's some making of that we're going to go into?
Yeah, here's the brief synopsis we have. So George Lucas's Super Live Adventure was a theatrical production that toured Japan from April to September 1993 with an independent narrative of its own. That's for sure. That's bold that part. The show told the story of a young girl who is pursued for the magical wand she possesses through several of Lucasfilm licensed movie franchises, including Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Willow, American Graffiti, and Tucker, the Man in His Dream.
What?
Oh
yeah, that's true. I remember writing that down and not knowing what the heck is Tucker, the Man in His Dream.
I have not. I am seeing this for the first time, which is arguably probably not good, but that's insane. I did not know. I don't even know. All right.
So when it comes to this mashup, you may be asking yourself, and we're going to take a quick little look at the poster there. You may be asking yourself, guys, how do they make a cohesive story between all of these films, do it live, and make it seem like, this big story that kind of wraps up all together and like really great and everything?
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is they didn't do that.
They don't.
No.
They don't do it at all.
And we're talking, once again, as people who don't speak fluent Japanese, but at the same time, the length in some of these dance routines and some of these just people juggling or people doing some kind of contortionist stuff, or more dancing or a little bit of fighting. It's a lot of action and a lot of movement that no clue what they're trying to do. Like that one dance number was like 7 or 8 minutes long.
Oh yeah. Yeah. For just kind of, it wasn't even really a setup.
No,
because there was a second dance number. I mean, there was many, but the second dance number that was very long eventually leaded into the opening scene of Temple of Doom, where they're kind of, with the white suit and they're kind of at the table.
And that was funny too, because we
didn't even realize. It's like, oh, that
by the time they made it to the whole beginning of the movie, scene, it was like, wait, that's what this all was about?
The whole dance number was just to set the scene in that like club or like casino,
it's like a club
or whatever. That was you get so lost.
So like Logan said, when it comes to this story, it's something about a girl who gets a magic wand and then she goes through all of these.
You don't even really pick up the magic wand part though.
No, because it sits on like Willow at the beginning and he like frees Harrison Ford, and we're saying Harrison Ford because
that's
the character is Harrison Ford for sure, because the actor is playing Harrison Ford, playing all of the characters that Harrison Ford plays in Lucasfilm movies.
Yeah, he's Indiana Jones, he's Han,
he's the guy from American Graffiti.
He's the main greaser in Grease, because that's what it is.
Well, I want to get to that in a second, because that was
not
just crazy.
American Graffiti.
But they try and kind of put all of this together, but then at the same time, you get a little bit of this girl and her wand. Yeah. It's mostly just, hey, remember this scene?
Yeah.
But before we get to this scene from a movie, you remember, here's a 10-minute dance number.
Yeah.
And it's, like I said, once again, we don't know what they're saying, but we know these movies.
Mm-hmm. You can pick out the scenes. It's a little bit like the holiday special.
Oh,
in that,
yes.
Where you have a storyline. I'll put that in quotes.
Yeah.
But then it's just broken up by all these weird little like the circus kind of dance
Right.
and like the contortionist, like the Cirque du Soleil-esque
Yeah.
performance.
Someone was throwing knives against a wall.
Yeah.
And then
that was just in the background.
And then they bring out a giant dragon, and then there's a big fight scene.
Oh, and then there's a tiger. There's a live
tiger. That's right. I couldn't believe it.
You're like, what? And he like puts his paws up on
Harrison Ford.
Yeah, Harrison Ford. That's just what the character is at this point.
But it was just crazy. It was like, what is going on and what are they doing? They just are throwing anything at the wall. I think George probably saw like a couple live shows in his time, and he just thought that's what live shows are.
Yeah, he's like, we'll just mash like 4 movies together.
Yeah, and I just love the name of it. George Lucas Super Live Adventure. So the making of. This is some history for you. To bring the show to life, the production had to cast 61 people, true to Lucas' pantheon of characters. Amazingly, the cast and crew spent only 2 months in rehearsal. It's not that amazing.
No, that's believable.
That's pretty believable because even the dance numbers and stuff because once again, I always have to show that Logan is a trained actor who did a lot of stage performances. Couldn't pretty much all those dance numbers just been dance numbers from other plays?
That's exactly what
they
were.
could have just like slotted in like, we know how to do the dance number from blank.
Well, I mean, they straight up just performed Anything Goes. Like
from
they just
Grease.
Stole the from Anything Goes.
Yeah.
We were watching it together, and I'm like, dun, 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 dun. I'm like, that's Anything Goes.
Yeah.
And like the whole time, and then at the end of the song, there's like Anything Goes. And they just say it. It's like as if you weren't, as if it was like a little bit mystery.
Right.
No, they straight up did Anything, and that was in the beginning, like the preamble to the Indiana. I almost said James Bond. That does feel a little bit.
It does
like
feel
that,
a little James Bondy, but no, I believe. Oh no, you're right. But they did when it came to American Graffiti. They just did Grease.
They just did the hand jive.
Yeah, which is from Grease. Straight
up.
It's not from American Graffiti.
No, it was.
Once again, it's like you hire these people and they're like, hey, do a dance number around. Can you do a dance number around American Graffiti? The show where it's like a bunch of the movie I made with like greasers and like cars and everything.
And they just heard greasers.
You think you're going to come up with something completely original?
Yeah, of course.
And
then that night they have already tickets to go see Grease live, and they're like,
just taking notes.
Yeah. This hand jive thing is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they said they didn't pull any punches with trying to make it their own, because at one point I was like, this is just Grease.
Yeah.
And then I pulled up a clip of the movie, and I was like, this isn't even doing it justice. So I pulled up a clip of Grease live on Broadway from I forget what year,
right?
And played it as we were watching the movie, and it was just the same.
Yes.
They were doing the same dances, same costumes.
Even the score sounded very, very similar.
They had like all their names on the back of their leather jackets. Yeah. It's like
it was just Grease, man.
And I haven't seen American Graffiti, admittedly. So
I have, and it's not really a movie that lends itself to musical numbers. I'll be honest when it comes to that.
Maybe that's what they thought, is like American Graffiti doesn't really translate, but Grease does, and those are similar.
The fact that the production would tour arenas also increased the difficulty of getting it ready. Douglas Schmidt, the production designer, explained, it would have been different if we had been going into a theater where you have a curtain complement of equipment. Can you read this for me?
Sure.
Because my head is just scrambled, which you'll learn about in the Unknown Regions. Read the quote.
It would have been different if we had been going into a theater where you have that is confusing, where you have a certain complement of equipment. But here we were going into arenas where there was nothing, just a big empty space. We had to build not only the set for the show, we had to build the stage. They're just explaining how you tour.
Yeah.
That's like, so it was like building a theater inside of an arena. Well, I don't think it was like building. All right, I'm going to stop. And then building a show inside the theater. It was really a Herculean task. Herculean.
Herculean, probably better than I would have been able to say it. Teamwork and talent were essential to ensuring that the production stayed on schedule and the final product was top quality. Feld and Scott Ferris, the show's directors and supervising producer, chose a stellar group of individuals to accomplish these goals and make the unique concept of the show a reality. All the creative team members had extensive backgrounds in theater and or arena entertainment. So what you're telling me is the people who put together the dance routines were a part of other things that had dance routines. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah.
Because there's the like Showgirls kind of one where it's like, they all get in a line and they do the kicking and everything. That is like what Star Wars, Indiana Jones, what was this in Willow? I haven't seen Willow since I was a kid, but was a Showgirls thing in Willow? Because I can't remember that.
Yeah, they did a kick line in the beginning of Willow.
And it was like, but the whole dance routine was like 8 minutes long. And to think that they would come up with an original dance routine for something that doesn't tie into the main story at all. I'm going to go out on a limb and say they were just like, nah, we're just going to do whatever that dance routine that we all know is and just do that one.
It's like whatever show all of those dancers and performers had just come off of. They were like, hey, you guys already know it, right? You just did a chorus line? We'll just do that.
Just smile and nod as George walks by.
You guys can do a kick line, right?
Pretend that you're making it up on the fly.
Pretend.
I
would go out even further and say that there is very little in this show that is original.
Well, I would probably say most of it's not original because it's about other movies and stuff.
But that's what I'm saying. Even in the small pockets where they could have brought original content, they still just grabbed anything goes. They grabbed the hand jive.
Ferris credentials, including directing such popular and sizable production as Les Miserables.
Les Miserables.
Oh, wow. See?
Les Mis.
Cats and Ain't Misbehavin'. Smith had 30 years of experience and had designed more than 175 productions, working with re-owned organizations like the New York Shakespeare Festival and the New York City and San Francisco opera companies. So once again, seasoned
legit things
Yeah.
that they're working on. Like, those are big names.
Go ahead and continue about B.H. Barry, which is one of my favorite names.
B.H. Barry, that's a good pseudonym.
Yeah.
B.H. Barry was the fight coordinator and found his role in the production very challenging. He had worked extensively on Broadway, Big River, City of Angels, in films, The Addams Family, Glory, and in television.
What big fight scene was in the Addams Family movie?
Oh, I can't even.
When Wednesday and It have a fist fight in a shed.
I was gonna say it had to be something with Wednesday.
Wednesday breaks a bottle over It's head.
I don't. That's just a hilarious line that he
found it very challenging.
And honestly, that is funny because the fight scenes were pretty killer.
Especially the last one, which I want to get to eventually, but the
Indiana
lightsaber
Jones one,
lightsaber battle, the stunts were great,
very cool. It's like it's hard to describe this show, truly. All right, this is a lot of words. I will keep going with this. Other esteemed members of the creative team included Robert Ganaway, writer who had worked for Paramount and Walt Disney Feature Animation, Don Grady, musical director who had an extensive background that included music for HBO, Warner Brothers, the Discovery Channel, and Arts and Entertainment, Frank Krenz, costume designer whose film credits included Ghostbusters and Moonstruck, Marilyn Lowy, lighting designer, and an Emmy winner whose clients had included Bette Midler, Harry Connick Jr., and Neil Diamond. I know. I have
a feeling like I know where those 25 million went.
That's
just to get the greatest hodgepodge of creators to make a live show.
That's what this is. Jonathan Dean, sound designer whose company had worked on over 80 musicals and plays. Davis Mendoza, an illusion designer who had worked with the magician David Copperfield, that's where the tiger, and megastar Michael Jackson. Like
It's
these
crazy.
are big names.
It's crazy.
They're not just thrown together.
And what we will say is like that. A lot of the dancing still, it was good. A
looked
lot of
very
the
professional.
fighting and stunts, it was all super professional, but it made no sense. It's like, why is this going? If the girl and her wand was central in the whole thing, and that like she was going to this place, and then the scene started, like the curtains opened up, and it was the beginning scene of Indiana Jones.
Right.
If she's like trying to find someone and she's weaving out of the dancers, like trying to get around them or whatever.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't a thread that you could follow. It was legit just like that part is over. And now, hey, who else saw Willow?
Yeah, it's as if they didn't take it far enough into
Right.
the story, because you're right. It was like, that's the story, what they're telling us.
Yeah.
This girl has a wand, she's weaving through all these stories, but you're right, we never see that. We just see the girl and then she's off. Well, the girl, Harrison Ford, because they're kind of teamed up.
Yeah.
And then they're off, and then there's this dance number, which, yeah, I want to reiterate, the quality of everything is solid. Like the dancers are professional. That's not what's funny about it. It's just
we've seen it before because it's from other things.
And then the stuff you haven't. Oh, yes.
Even though it toured Japan, where Lucas' work is widely beloved, the Super Live Adventure wasn't tailored to the Japanese audience, except that the young girl who played the heroine was Japanese American, and the dialogue was dubbed in Japanese by the actors who regularly dubbed Lucas movies. Ferris explains, "We wanted it to be something that would play anywhere. Unfortunately, Feld Productions were unable to find a new financial backing to bring the show to the United States or anywhere else."
Which is sad. I wish there was more recorded versions.
It's sort of sad. But I love the fact that it's this live show about all these very famous movies that only happened in Japan.
Yeah.
Only.
Yep.
That's the only place this happened. It's so strange.
For a few months. It went for like 2 or 3 months. And the version that we watched on YouTube, you get this amazing cuts, by the way, and you get a little snippet, which we did kind of fast forward through, where they go like backstage, like they knew one of their buddies.
Yeah, so whoever recorded this on like a VHS camera from the stands knew somebody in the play, and they were in the seats filming this thing.
Yeah.
And we think it's this one like larger dude who was like the bartender, and then he was a bartender in like several different things.
Yeah. It's like the baker or something.
Because they kept zooming in on him. So we assume that that's him. But yeah, then there's just like a 15-minute period where they're backstage.
And like just felt like you could see the actors are like it kind of half in costume.
Yeah.
Getting like stuff ready. They're talking to their friends and family.
So whoever did this like did an old mid 90s edit.
Yeah.
Because they obviously shot that at some point, but then they put it in the intermission slot.
Like they were backstage in intermission.
I know.
Maybe, but no way. That'd be, I don't know. And the
they
guys
didn't seem like they were working fast enough.
The guy's putting on the Vader helmet.
Yeah, and he's
like not Vader. It's like don't do that, man.
Don't put other people's props on your head, man. Oh, broke the Vader thing. Quick. Can you rewind the tape?
Kick it under the prop table.
Vader comes out without a helmet.
Show must go on.
But speaking of Vader and Luke and all that, that is by far the best part of this this whole play.
Yeah.
Is the fight between Luke and Vader, the lightsaber battle from Return of the Jedi. And let me tell you something. Number one, we don't see a character who's Luke until that battle.
Yeah.
So that's very strange.
It's the first time.
And number two, it is so good.
Yeah.
Like it is wildly good. And what they had like actual lightsabers like we would have now, not like Disney, how they make real lightsabers now, but
yeah, you
like
get those.
Like the, LED sticks basically, and they were fighting each other like
they were going
full force. It wasn't like a standard play where they kind of have to swing around each other, do it slowly. No, they were like whipping it around, hitting each other.
Like if you didn't duck, you're getting nailed.
And this is probably the pinnacle of seeing the skill behind the people who made this thing, because you see a lot of stunts, a lot of great costumes, a lot of great sets. They had multiple Lukes and Vaders.
Yeah,
for sure. Right. Because they would do something up on one part of the set, the lights would go down, and then like within a second they were down in another part fighting in another part.
Or it was very like a little like Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, where like there's another Luke up there and then he swings down on this big set piece and then he swings over to the other one, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's very cool.
And that, and they were, like we were saying, going full force. The sound was amazing. They had the different lightsaber whooshes, the cracks when they were hitting,
Yeah, the sound effects were right on.
And then the effects of hitting stuff, especially the shoulder.
Yeah.
Luke does the thing where he hits Vader's shoulder and sparks shoot out of this suit's shoulder. But yeah, they're like hitting stuff. Sparks are flying.
Yeah.
There was the whole thing where they threw something into like this generator and the generator like exploded from
Darth
the top.
Vader.
Darth Vader
Spoiler
eventually.
alert.
Yeah, well, in this universe, Luke just straight up kills Vader.
Him.
Straight up kills Vader with the help of the wand girl.
Yeah,
that's what. So let's put this into perspective, and maybe this will give you guys an idea. Is the fact that they do this amazing whole set piece, this amazing fight. All this stuff is happening, and Vader has Luke, and he's gonna throw him into like the generator, like the well, whatever. He's about to kill Luke, and then the girl shows up with the wand, basically distracts Vader, whatever it is. Vader is able to get his lightsaber and hit Vader into the pit.
Luke is able
to hit Vader into the pit.
Right.
But the thing about it is, that's where the main thread of the story comes, is at the very end, this girl just shows up and is like, hey, I'm here too. How are we following this girl as the main character?
No one.
When you'll have like a 15-minute set piece dance number. You see a scene from a movie you've seen before, and then she shows up at the end and it's like probably saying stuff along the lines of like, oh my gosh, that is Indiana Jones. Moving on to the next franchise.
Right.
That's how it was. So like there's this whole big fight, and then this girl shows up and sticks her nose in the whole thing.
Distracts Vader,
and then Vader dies.
Yeah.
But after that is when the Millennium Falcon comes in, and they built like to scale Millennium Falcon. The like screen opens up.
Yeah, everything opens,
and just this gigantic Millennium Falcon starts flying into the stage, and it's like there's like probably at least 5 million right there. That's where 5 million of the 20 went into, is the like life-sized moving Millennium Falcon.
When we were watching it, that is when I think you said, what is the budget? What is the
budget of this thing?
Yeah, it was insane. The Millennium Falcon really was the Hershey's Kiss on top. It was brilliant. It was, my favorite was I don't know. Yeah, I think the grease stuff. Because it just wasn't,
because you like grease.
No, I mean, I don't have anything against grease, but it's just like it's what we said when we were watching it. It's as if you were like, hey, we're gonna do Star Wars and American Graffiti, and they didn't know about it, and they just watched Grease instead.
Yeah.
And just pulled stuff right from there. It's hilarious.
So the question we want to ask everybody is, have you seen the George Lucas Super Live Adventure? We don't expect many people to say yes to that, but no. While we let that kind of simmer, let's take another quick look at the trailer again.
Pay attention to the Millennium Falcon too.
I want to say that is that they do tease the Millennium Falcon, and it's not the way they presented it in the show, but you'll see what we mean.
Samora Impulse George Lucas Super Live Adventure.
放送3年ついに完成したルーカスライブ。本当に本物のスター・ウォーズがやってくる。これはもう映画どころの騒ぎじゃない。
Every time.
The skeleton guy. Once again, we didn't know who the heck it was, so it was just like, oh, here's horse sword skeleton man again.
Because they started the show with horse. Well, that's cool too. And I said this while we were watching it. It reminded me, especially during the Indiana Jones fight scenes, a lot of the live shows that you see at Disney.
Yes. So
that had me thinking of like, when did those live shows begin? Because it's brilliant. Yeah. That is brilliant. That little kernel in there is absolutely killer. And those shows are wildly entertaining.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, even
one at a time.
Even Trevor says here, we need a new version at Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, that would be incredible.
But it's interesting of this thing that was so big budget and had such a limited run. And then we found online that they sold lightsabers there.
Yeah.
And that's the only place you can get them. They were little toy lightsabers that said George Lucas Super Live Adventure on them, and they go for like $80 to $100.
I actually had a dream last night. This is real. I had a dream last night that you and I were trying to order some, like at least one, and we found someone who had ordered it. Like we just wanted to make sure it was legit.
Yeah.
We found someone who ordered it, and we went to him and we were like, "Hey, you got this, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, it was $100. I got it on eBay," and we were like checking it out. So that's what I dream about.
But did we get it?
No, I don't know. My dreams never have good endings.
Even your dreams suck.
Yeah, it's true. You're telling me.
Yeah, so if you've seen it and want to see it, let us know. Much like Commodore Mellish was saying here, he said he has not seen it, but I'm going to watch it. It is on YouTube. You can find it. I believe it's something along the lines. Now, don't quote me on this. GLSLA.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to put the actual title for it, which is very smart, I will tell you. Don't just say Star Wars on it, because that gets their algorithm looking at it, especially with all the music and stuff in it.
Right.
But yeah, if you search it on YouTube, I'm sure you'll be able to find it. Is that
Skeletor?
No, Siren is asking if Skeletor was at the end of that.
That's what I
thing.
thought.
No, it is not. That is Kale. Which is not the leafy greens either. I'm so confused. It's not Skeletor. It's not Kale.
It's something in between.
It's something in between. I just love that this exists. To be honest, it's another one of those things like the holiday special.
Yeah.
Where the holiday special is rough, but I love that it exists because it's such a weird thing that's like real and that you can watch and experience.
It's beautiful that so many people came together to make this for us.
Yeah.
And we get to watch it years later, like 30 years later.
Yeah. I love it. Well, not 30 years later. It's kind of more so around 27, almost 28.
What was this, 93?
93. Yeah.
I wasn't even born yet.
That's when I was born. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, you know exactly.
Not 30 yet. Not quite 30.
It's like, let's ease up on the whole 30 thing. 27 on a good day.
So let's move on to our last story for today, which is ObiWan Kenobi. Disney Plus Star Wars series adds Pen 15 star Maya Erskine. Is that how you would say that?
Let me see it. Let me view it.
Mia. Chat, help us out.
I would say Maya Erskine.
Okay, awesome. Not too much once again to go into this, but this is from Deadline.com, and they're saying that this is an exclusive, that they were able to figure this out and announce it there. And I'll see if chat Maya. There we go.
Erskine.
Trevor saying
Erskine.
Maya. Okay.
Maya
So
Rudolph.
the Insecure and Scoob actress who will have a supporting role in at least 3 episodes. Very specific. We hear
we read.
Maya has been nominated for multiple WGA awards and a 2019 Emmy for Hulu original comedy Pen 15, which she fronts with Anne Conkle. Anna Conkle. Well, she probably goes by Anne.
Maybe.
I'm telling you, I'm running on fumes right now. I'm going to be honest. We'll get to that in a second here. The question is, who do you think that Maya will play in the Kenobi series? Logan, I'm going to put you on the spot. You got to come up with either somebody who exists in Star Wars or come up with a Star Wars character from scratch right now.
Okay. I think she is going to, she's going to play at some point. ObiWan Kenobi is going to be kind of on his. Is that
she's going to be ObiWan Kenobi?
No. Let me get there.
Okay,
At some point, ObiWan Kenobi is going to be very lonely and very sad, and he's going to stumble into a cantina. It's like, I don't like this here.
Logan, I don't like.
I think ObiWan Kenobi would be lonely and sad in this. That makes sense.
Yeah,
He's coming.
And then he's in a cantina.
And he's in a cantina. And she is, who knows? She's not lonely and sad. She's energetic, and she just got out of performing George Lucas's super live, awesome,
she just got back from Japan
event, and she's just raving about it and how good this show is. And so she sits down with old Ben Kenobi, and she just kind of verbalizes the story that we watched last night to him and kind of keeps him.
And that's what the rest of the series, those 3 episodes they're talking about.
Yeah.
The first one, she starts the story, and then there's a 3-story arc where it's like a flashback.
Because it would take that long to tell this story.
Exactly, especially with all the dance numbers.
And he's very uplifted by it. And it takes him out of his sad and lonely state. And maybe he's drinking some spatchka. What was it called?
I mean, it might be spatchka. That sounds right, actually. Trevor says Maya will play Speckle, Obi-Wan's talking womp rat buddy. Oh, wow. So Obi-Wan has a womp rat and it can talk.
Right.
Obi-Wan is definitely lonely and sad.
Yeah, he's actually, it's just, we already had a bit like that, right? Where he's just making it talk.
What?
His womp rat.
In real life? They already shot this and you know about it?
No. So we did whatever. Forget it. It was yeah. I was going to go into it, but it would have been a little derivative.
Here is who I think she is going to play.
Yeah, please.
Okay. She is going to play Obi-Wan's robe.
Oh.
That he uses the Force to give life to. So he has like another person just kind of around the house, kind of walking around. But eventually his robe starts talking to him, but no one else can hear.
It's like a Ultron type of deal where it becomes like sentient.
And Owen Lars comes over and is like, hey, listen, I'm thinking maybe you can possibly train Luke now. I trust you enough. And then all of a sudden here comes Maya as
robe.
He's doing it so often he can't even control it anymore. And she's like, hey, it's me, Maya. And
she says her actor name.
It's me, Maya, the talking robe. And that's what makes
from Ben 15.
That's what makes like I almost won some awards. And that's what makes Owen go like he's just a crazy wizard in the desert.
He's like, never mind. You're not gonna train him. You're not gonna come near him.
When I was there, he was trying to work on his crate dragon yell and he had a talking robe. Don't go over there.
So that's how Owen had a restraining order against old Ben Kenobi.
Siren says some Doctor Strange type robe. Exactly.
Yeah.
She can be an amazing snooty robe.
Yeah. Why is the robe snooty?
Because I mean, I made the character, so maybe okay. I can be the one who brings that up. All right, Logan. Here's something that I just remembered, and we're gonna be moving on to the unknown regions here.
Yes.
Here's something I just remembered. We want to do something called predictions for Bad Batch.
Okay.
And that comes out May 4th, which is a little over a week.
Yes.
So that means next week we should do at some point a predictions episode. What do you think about that?
I think it's a great idea.
Because if you guys haven't watched or listened to the show for too long, what we do when it comes to predictions is actually sit down before something comes out and have some categories and put in bold predictions and see who wins. And see who wins when it comes to the end of the season, how many we got right, how many we got wrong. So we're going to have a victor with some type of a prize and then a loser with some type of a punishment. We did this for Solo years ago, and Johnny, former host of the show, I believe he won predictions, and one of the things he won with was because he predicted that there would be a Lando crying scene, and there was a Lando crying scene. We would love to be able to work with people and have them give their own predictions. A great way to do that would be on our Patreon, because we have a Patreon Discord. So maybe we'll put the categories in there. People can put their predictions in.
Shoot them over.
And we can do it together. And I'll tell you, it makes watching stuff so much more fun, because you're sitting there and something's like leading to it, you know,
right.
like the Lando crying scene. And it's like, oh, she just got shot. Oh, and here comes Lando and he's picking her up. Like, oh my God, he's getting very emotional. Like,
he's crying.
You know what I mean? Like you're like, is it going to happen? And it just adds this extra layer of excitement to watching.
Especially for one like that is so obviously before seeing Solo out there, you know, Lando's going to cry at some point.
Right. And he did. So be sure to look for that next week. We might do like a special episode on a different day doing our predictions next week for the Bad Batch. Thank you very much. I was about to say Solo again. We're going to predict Solo, but the past.
Right.
You're going to get a lot of stuff right.
Yeah, almost everything.
But now it is time for the unknown regions where we talk about something cool that we found outside the universe of Star Wars. Logan, I said I was going to be talking about this week. So my past 24 hours have been very, very stressful, I guess you might say, very like taxing there. I work, I still go into the office, the day job and everything. And I was there from 8 till 5. And now it's time to get in my car and I'm going to get my second vaccine. So I'm going to be fully vaxxed and everything. As I get in my car and plug my phone into my car, all of a sudden my phone just does the spiral thing. It's like it's thinking. And then the screen goes dark and it's still doing it. I'm like, that's strange. And I'm already like driving at this point. So I'm on the road and I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm just going to go to the Wolstein Center here in Cleveland, Mass, vaccinations. And I'm like, I'll probably be able to get there. That'll be fine.
Right.
And then maybe 5 minutes later, I remember I need my vaccine card, which is right here, to go in and say like, hey, I got my first one. I need my second one. So I need that card. And I'm driving and I gave myself plenty of time to get there and park and get into the building and all that, but maybe not enough time to come back to my place and then go all the way there from here. So midway through, I'm like, great. Now I'm super stressed out. My phone is still not turning on or off. I can't do anything to it. I get all the way here. I message Logan and another person saying like, hey, my phone's not working. I need to run to get the, shot and then I'll be back at
the
some
message
point.
Actually came through twice.
It
like,
did?
In the same message. It was very weird. Like every line you said, it like doubled it.
That's probably because I just was copy and pasting.
Oh,
and I maybe
okay.
pasted it twice. Regardless. So I get in my car. The main stickler here is I don't know how to get to this Wolstein Center from memory from my place.
Right.
We talked about this in our post show last week that's on Patreon about having good memories, but I had a pretty good memory of driving to there from the highway from work the last time I did it 3 weeks ago. But now it's not that.
Right. Well, you had to go way out of your way because you were coming from like south, like Seoul, and you could have just gone straight to Cleveland. You had to go all the way west and then kind of
come in, and then I have to go straight out east. Regardless, I'm going there and I get into Cleveland and apparently there's a baseball game going on because there are people everywhere and there's cops directing traffic, which makes it even harder because now they're waving, come this way. And I'm like, I know I need to turn left at some point.
Yeah.
So I get to Prospect. People might not know anything about Cleveland. I get to Prospect, which is one of the biggest roads there. And I'm like, all right, I want to turn left here because there's a good chance that this will connect. And I can't. So I go to the next street and they turn left. Luckily, I merge onto Prospect eventually. And then the Wolstein Center is right there. And it's like this shining beacon. I can't tell you how crazy it is that I was able to get there without any assistance. I was talking to my car. I was like, does my car itself have a map system? I don't know. And I couldn't find it. They couldn't find it. The voice activating thing that was like, I don't know what you're talking about. It was not a good
It was
time.
Responding to you, just not with what you wanted to hear.
You're talking about. So I finally get there. I, park in the parking deck. I go in there and I get the shot, and it was so fast this time. Basically, you go all the way around, you go downstairs, you go out to the floor. Somebody points you in a direction to another person who points you down a row of seats. As I sit down in the row of seats, the person with the cart pulls up right there, boom, 3 seconds of talking, bam, into my arm and moves on. Like it was that fast. Like within 15 seconds, I got the second shot. Yeah. So now I have the shot and I'm just sitting there and you have to wait for 15 minutes before you can leave. And I'm trying with my phone. iPhones have a way, if you don't have the screen, to be able to turn off the phone like manually,
like a series of buttons,
a series of buttons. Yeah, it's like a bop it. And I am sitting there trying all the different things, and I am not succeeding. And then there's people around me. Some woman was on her phone. The guy next to me did not move or touch his phone or anything the entire time. He just stood there looking straight. I'm like, I'm not going to talk to this guy. And then there's a family talking each other's ears off behind me and all that. So I'm like, I'm not going to talk to any of these people about
these
this.
descriptions.
So I sit there for 15 minutes and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go talk to one of these army guys who's just kind of standing around. And to be honest, a lot of people there are just standing around. I know that they're there to help, assist, and whatever else it is. But most of the time you sit there for 15 minutes and you do just watch and see people just standing there the entire time.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm going to talk to that guy all the way down there because I haven't seen him do anything. So 15 minutes are up. I'm walking towards the exit and I'm like, hey, I need you to do me a favor. Because how are you going to bring this up to somebody?
Right.
I need help. Oh my
Help.
gosh, what's going on?
Yeah, what?
Do you know how to turn off an iPhone?
Like,
So I'm like, can you Google something for me? I'll tell you why. My phone is doing this, and I'm like, I need to just have, if you can just Google, how do you manually turn off an iPhone? And then he did something that as you know, I hate this type of thing of, well, have you tried holding the button?
uh-huh.
Yep. Yeah, I have. Believe it or not, I have tried doing the first thing that you would think to do. So luckily, though, he is helping me out. Hello, Kevin Toft, former winner of art.
What's up, Kevin?
Hey to you as well. So luckily, he is going to assist me with Googling how to turn off an iPhone. And me and this army dude watch a YouTube video on how to on his phone. We just sat there like looking at it. And for everybody who wants to know, it is up, down, hold the button.
So you do have to hold the button.
Up, down, hold the button. And then it'll eventually turn off. And it turned off. And then it came right, I let it sit for a little bit and then I turned it right back on and it's been fine ever since. But I was able, but the
I
thing
wouldn't
about
trust it still.
The thing about that is, I don't trust like that. The thing about that is that was like an hour of time where I was not only already stressed about having to go get a vaccination,
right,
and driving in rush hour and getting off of work and knowing we're going to work on the show after all this, like all that stuff.
Right.
I am doing this blind and I'm lost and I'm confused. And it was very stressful. But then like that, get it all together, get here. We figure out a show. We watch that crazy Lucas adventure, whatever.
Super live.
But we work on the show till late in the night. And I'm like, I need to wake up tomorrow so that the internet guy can come here and hook up my internet. So I need to wake up at 8 a.m. on my day off, which is I usually wake up around that time during the week.
Right.
So it's like, okay, fine, whatever. So I wake up, get a text pretty immediately that the guy is on his way. So now I'm not doing really anything until this person comes here. And then he's almost here. And then he's like, I am here. And then he waits for like 2 minutes or so. And I'm just waiting. And I have to go to the bathroom so bad. I'm so hungry. I want to make coffee. I want to eat. I want to just get my day moving. French press. I just got French press. So he comes in, starts looking around. And once again, when it came, because the issue is I'm trying to get AT&T and we need one of those like phone jacks.
Yeah.
And my apartment does not have a phone jack. So he is here and looking at stuff. And he asked the question, have you looked for the phone jack?
Uh-huh.
Believe it or not, I have looked for the phone jack. I wouldn't have called you here if I didn't just at least glance around a little bit, because he started glancing around,
right.
Like he just was kind of doing some of this stuff. And it's like, you really think you're going to lean to the right and be like, oh, it's on your ceiling. Like, that's weird, but it's there. Like, no, it's not in here. So then he has to go all around and all this stuff. And I need to go to the bathroom so bad. Like, you ever get those moments where you're like, this is an emergency bathroom type deal right now. And it's not even like it's going to be bad. It's not, but it's just like, if I don't go now, I feel like I'm going to die. Do you get what I mean? Like, you either have to pee or whatever so bad that it's like, and you have to talk to somebody straight. And it's like, I can't think of anything else right now, man.
Could you imagine if that was me right now?
Thank you everybody for watching. No. So that's what was going on and trying to figure this out. And then he is like, well, I can't do it because I need access to the utility room. And I'm like, I don't have access to that. It's like, well, can you call your landlords? I'm like, I got new landlords. I don't even know who to call. So
Right.
I text somebody. And I'm at the point now where it's like, this isn't going to happen. We have a show in like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I can't really have them come back. I am at this point not only feeling down here, I am feeling super sore. It's all stemming from this arm right here, kapow. And I'm like, I'm starting to like kind of crumble a little bit, like, myself. And this guy is just talking my ear off. He's one of those people that, like he's finally able to talk to somebody and he's just talking to me about this stuff though, like not even anything else. And it's just like
internet
if
stuff?
you really had access there, we totally could have ran, because I would have ran a wire in through there. Some buildings have access from the outside, but yours doesn't. So, if you're able to call somebody and I'm like, I know you just told me this.
He's just telling you all the things he could have done.
And yeah, and you just told me this like 5 minutes ago, and we agreed you go do something. I will try and get a hold of them and let you know if I can.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Because that's and if we're able to just get in the room, I'm like, I know if we're able to get in the room, we can do it. I get it. I understand. Please just leave my place right now. I need to go to the bathroom, and I need to I'm like a dying sun. I'm collapsing in on myself right now. I'm slowly withering away. So he finally leaves. I'm able to go to the bathroom, and I just kind of called it. I was just like, I'm not going to hear back from these people. I'm not going to get this person to come back because
they charge you.
Right. And I want him to leave so he doesn't charge me. He was only here for like 10 minutes. And so it's like, get out of here.
Yeah.
I definitely don't want to charge for a day
nothing.
that he did absolutely nothing.
Right.
So, get him out of there and start making food. And by the time I'm done making food and French press coffee, I am just so tired. And then this guy shows up.
I show up. I kick the door in.
But no, he showed up, and Logan did something extremely nice for me, which we talked about last week. Logan bought another Strixhaven booster box, him and his brother Corey. However, I said I would go thirdsies on it, and Logan was just like, no, man, don't worry about it. Like, you don't have to, just get your 10 packs and everything, which is extremely nice.
It's like, I've heard you've had a 24 hours. It's like, just...
Which was extremely nice. And then I asked Logan about the Blue Sky Noise for people who've listened to, recent episodes in the Unknown Regions. Like, hey, did you ever get those tickets for Blue Sky Noise, which is a concert we were talking about while he's working on stuff? Because I'm on the couch.
Yeah. So I'm setting up everything for the show, the soundboard, the camera, everything like that. And very, just kind of nonchalant. Yeah. You're like, did you get those tickets? I'm like, no, I forgot. I definitely forgot. Even though I wrote it on my wrist last week.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Thank you, Kevin Toft, for Bladder Squadron.
Bladder Squadron.
Big time. But
that's
yeah,
before the show.
He didn't
I forgot.
get the tickets. So while he was talking to me, I ordered him tickets to that show on my phone and then showed him that I did it. Here's the funny thing about that though, is when it comes to like love languages, Logan and I are very similar, because getting gifts is a no-go for us.
I'm not about it.
We do not like gifts. It makes us anxious. At least for me, a big thing is like say somebody gets me a shirt or somebody, whatever. It's like, do I have to wear the shirt?
Yeah.
What if they don't see me wearing the shirt? Do I have to keep this shirt? I like this shirt, but where am I going to wear it? Oh my God. Like, it's pressure.
Yeah.
And that's on other people. That's not on them. That is on us for sure.
Right.
But that's just something that we don't like. So it was almost like a vengeful thing between Logan and I, where he is like, hey man, don't worry about paying for these packs. And I'm like, oh yeah. Well, I just bought you a ticket to a show that you were going to get tickets to. So deal with that, Logan.
You even said it. You're like, look, I just bought you this. And I was like, oh, and just, I can't say it on the show, but went off on him. Not in like a good way. In a good way. Called him bad words.
Logan, you can't even say bad words on this show.
Can't even allude to it.
Can't even allude to them. But yeah, that was hilarious. Just your face of being like, oh, you. And I'm like, hey man, when we talked about like it would start building. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you see that car outside with a bow on it? That's yours now,
That's your car. It's like, oh yeah? Well, guess what? Plug that address in. Just bought you a house.
Oh my gosh.
Are you kidding me?
I bought you the same house. You were the person I was bidding against.
We were bidding against each other for the house.
For the house, for each other. But it's been a long long several hours for me and
Several weeks.
several weeks. Yeah, for sure. But once again, that's kind of the update on the freaking internet is I would love to not have to go into my office at work every single week, but I have to. So that means I don't have a lot of time for someone to come in here, look at a door that we can't open, and then talk my ear off while I'm being Bladder Squadron over here.
About not being able to open the door. I told him just let me have a look. I'll pick the lock.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, don't say that live.
Whatever.
You'll pick the lock.
It's not a crime to talk about picking locks. Now, if the lock ends up getting picked,
Maybe that's how I can frame you.
They know. Yeah, now you have to pick the lock yourself. Frame me. I don't know what good that would do.
It's kind of a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening to this episode. Like we said, light news week, and we like to be pretty transparent when it comes to that. There wasn't anything major. Like, remember several weeks ago where they just kept pounding major, like, here's the cast, here's a trailer,
So
deal
many.
with it.
Well, there are more Andor pictures, but it's too much.
Just imagine what they could look like, and that's probably what they are.
Yeah, there'll just be the podcast that only shares leaked photos of Andor. But I will say, on a positive note, you did open a few packs before the show, and they were good. So
Yes, I got some pretty great packs, and so did you.
Yes.
Actually, you got an Elder Dragon.
I did. I got an Elder Dragon.
Yeah, ain't no biggie.
Now I have 2 Elder
This
Dragons.
guy's cool over here, but
No big deal.
yeah. So thank you everybody so much, and thank you to our patrons once again: Commodore Marroquin,
Commodore Marroquin,
Commodore Rayside,
Commodore Benty,
and
Commodore
Commodore
Mellish.
If you want to get a shout out every single week, check out our Patreon. Logan, if you can grab the link tree one more time and throw it into the chat, that would be amazing.
Sure.
Like we said, we have a whole bunch of reward tiers over there, and giving us that support really helps us out. And it makes a lot of this very, very worth it. We would also like to say when it comes to next week, there might be a little bit of a different scheduling, I believe, because Logan has a wedding that he's going to be a part of. So we may do a predictions episode like later, like some weekday.
Yeah, possibly during the week, sometime after work in the evening.
Which we will let you know. So follow our socials also in the link tree. I'm going to stop hitting the microphone. And then one more thing to talk about. I've just kept Bladder Squadron up there.
Bladder Squadron.
One more thing to shout out is May 4th. Check out Skywalking Through Neverland for some quizzes. And these two guys are going to be on that Bladder Squadron over here. It's going to be a good little reunion, I've heard from Richard and Sarah from Skywalking Through Neverland, a reunion of Force Fest people. Oh my gosh, Force Fest celebrating the saga.
So long ago.
Oh, it
Lives in our hearts.
back in 2020. But yeah, I would like to say quickly, because Commodore Mellish brought up, is he getting married?
I am not getting married.
He is not getting married. No, he's not allowed.
I'm not allowed.
We need to focus on the show, Logan.
Yeah, I tried to. I was like, "Can I get married, Tyler?" And he was like, "It's just too much right now.
It's just
We
too much.
can't."
That's a lot of emotional baggage I need to carry.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't want to hurt me, would you?
No,
never.
you would be up there. You'd be marrying me. Actually, I would be marrying you.
Well,
We would be getting married.
I'm a reverend.
That's
true. I
true.
could marry somebody.
That's true.
Let's not do that as a bit in a show, because I don't know how the legalities work for that.
Thanks for reminding me that I have all the things that I need to get married, except, the main one. Someone to marry.
Pulpit. Thank you guys. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.